because they're not making their rent or their mortgage, and yet God's like, what about that idea I gave you all those years ago? What are you doing with that? I mean, it's $1 million idea, probably. It's a really interesting thought. Okay, so we're talking about we got to count the costs. We have to have a plan, and so I want to bring us to Noah. I just love the whole idea of what Noah was asked to do and how he had to totally do it in faith and by faith. So as far as that situation goes, every detail that Noah got, like the plan, God had to give him because he never built an ark, probably never built a boat because it never rained. So why would they need a boat, let alone an ark? Is that right? There was dew. I don't think they experienced rain, so like that's weird, right? So if you were to think of, just put yourself in Noah's place for a moment and just picture God comes to you and says, I want you to build an ark. And God gives him every detail, the kind of wood he needs to use, exactly the measurements, writing. I'm sure he's like writing all this down, or whatever you write, whatever they use to write things down. I'm sure that he's like putting all this stuff down. I'm like, okay. So if he was to look at his circumstances and have let them dictate whether he would go ahead and do this thing, and obey God, there was absolutely no way he would have done that. I mean, if he questioned God at all about the type of material, how am I going to get this wood, and why not this wood? Why can't this wood's right here? Like I have these trees right here, or whatever, Or how about the animals? Like you seriously want me to have snakes coming in? I mean, they're poisonous or whatever. I'm just saying. He could have asked God like a zillion things back and said, well, what about this? What about that? And then how about leaving the people behind? I mean, here he loved God. God loves people. What is that about? You want me to leave his people behind? How can I do that? I mean, who can say what was going on in his mind? So, bottom line is he did not lean on his own understanding. But in all his ways, he acknowledged God. And God directed his path. Jesus, same way. Not my will, but yours be done. Surely he could have stopped. He could have said, no, I really did a lot here. I healed a lot of people. I said a lot of great stuff. I gave them a lot of good content, how to move forward in their life. Do I really have to go through this? I mean, he did ask, but then he humbled himself. I want to look at Proverbs 3, 5, 6 for a moment, a little bit deeper. There's a Bible that I have, and it's called the Dake's Annotated Reference Bible. Has anyone ever heard of that? The Dake's Annotated Reference Bible. Well, it is so neat, and it just really breaks some things down. So I want to share with you the footnote, which relates to Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. And it says, begin, continue, and end every work, purpose, and plan with God. I'm going to say it again. Begin, continue, and end every work, purpose, and plan with God. Self-sufficiency and self-confidence have been the ruin of mankind ever since the fall. Man's sin has been to live independently and without God in the world. True religion consists of full acknowledgement of God in all human affairs. True religion consists of full acknowledgement of God in all human affairs. When the Lord showed me this many, many years ago, it really helped me. It has made such a difference in my life in terms of every decision I would make, particularly having had my own business for a long time. Begin, continue, and end every work, purpose, and plan with God. Because a lot of times we'll ask God, okay, what should I do? Or God gives you an idea and you say, okay, you're hanging out with God, you get a direction, and then you go, okay, God, thanks, and you start going. But then we don't continue to ask him, what's the next step? Okay, I know what to do here, but we go, I got this, and then we just kind of keep going on our own, and then we hit a wall. Right? And we're wondering, why did I hit that wall? Well, you didn't continue to ask God, what's the next step? What's the next step? And this whole course is about us putting you in the hands of God and allowing him to really be that guide for you. That you can continue to ask him, what's next? What should I do here? What should I do here? That's why the prayer time with him, that's why the listening to him, that's why the communicating with him is very important. So that helped me a lot, and I hope that helps you guys as well. So I was thinking about our existence as well. I mean, just think about, back to Noah and Jesus for a minute. Just think about if Noah and Jesus had not upheld their commitment to fulfilling God's plan, their assignment, their commission, we would not be here. I've always thought about that with Jesus, but I've really never really thought about that with Noah, but we would not be here, right? I mean, that had to be tough. Not just the fact that it all seemed strange what he had to build, but the people coming against him. I mean, man, that had to be rough.
Didn't it take him real long, like 100 years to build it or something?
I think 100 years.
I think you'd be discouraged. The first couple of years.
Well, that's interesting that you said that, because here, listen to this. I said, Jesus knew his time frame. He knew he only had a few years there, 3 years, right, of ministry. I believe he knew when the time was ready. But Noah did not. So exactly what you just said. He lived each day immersed in his assignment, because he knew that every moment counted, and he had no time to waste. Now, he didn't know it was going to be 100 years, but to him it was like, I gotta get this done. So there was an urgency for him, because he thought, oh my gosh, it could flood any day. I gotta get this done. That's something we could adopt. He needed to be ready, so when the time came, he would be finished. If it wasn't finished, we would not be here. So he had that goal. He had to keep going. So we must seize every moment and make our time count. We must run our race to obtain the prize. And that is 1 Corinthians 9, 24 through 27. And I think I'll read that to you. Therein lies the reward. So let me read that to you here. 1 Corinthians, you could look that up too if you want. Okay. You've all been to the stadium and seen the athletes race. Everyone runs. One wins. Run to win. All good athletes train hard. They do it for a gold medal that tarnishes and fades. You're after one that's gold eternally. I don't know about you, but I'm running hard for the finish line. I'm giving it everything I've got. No sloppy living for me. I'm staying alert and in top condition. I'm not going to get caught napping, telling everyone else all about it, and then missing out myself. It's really good. Oh, wow. I'm giving it everything I got. I'm running hard for the finish line. I must tell you guys that I often feel like I'm in a race against time. And I think we're supposed to feel like that. Well, based on what we were just talking about, I was sharing with you. I do. I really feel like we need to realize that time is of the essence. Hence, your destiny time. It is time. And it sounds good. Oh, it's my time. It's my time, But what does that mean? It means that I don't know how much time I have. I better get it done. So it's very important that we adopt that and that we really start living the fact that there's no time to waste. Think about Noah. He just kept going. He didn't even know, how long he had, but he knew that it could be tomorrow. And that's the thing, I don't want to stand before God and have him say, what about that idea I gave you? How come you didn't do that? What about that thing I told you to write, or that song, or that book I told you to do, you know? Why don't you do it? Okay? So, here are some more scriptures on the importance of time. Hebrews 12, 1 and 2. Therefore, we also, since we are surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin which so easily ensnares us, and let us run with endurance. Run with endurance the race that is set before us, looking unto Jesus, the author and the finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and has sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. So I bolded and underlined the word run. Let us run with endurance the race that is set before us. Now, most people in a race don't walk. They run, right?
Mm-hmm.
You need to see yourself as a runner, that you have to get to the finish line. So it could even be in something that you have to get done that you know God's telling you to do, a step in your business, a step in your plan. All right, I've got to get this done now so I can get to the next step, because it's all steps. Isaiah 40:31. But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall run, did you hear that? They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint. Now this is very interesting, because here I'm saying, run, run, run. This is saying, wait upon the Lord. Yeah. But wait also means serve. You know, a waiter at a restaurant is a server. So we're serving God by waiting upon him to hear from him. We need to wait to hear. But then he says, okay, go, run. It's like he's our coach, giving us the direction. He's giving us what we need so we can run the race with endurance, and so that we can mount up with the wings of eagles and not be weary. Because I know sometimes that's Isaiah 40:31. If we don't have that from God, we will grow weary. It'll be hard. Mm-hmm. And our bodies need rest and all that. That's important. I'm not saying run around the clock race, but we really need to get after it. But if he shows us how, kind of back to what you said earlier, Steve, he's going to show us what to do and how to do it. So we're not trying to do it in our flesh. And then we're not white knuckling out that run. And that's when we get exhausted. And he doesn't want us to be. He wants us to be refreshed in the running. Now you run, Jamie, right?
I used to.
Okay.
Not anymore.
But
yeah,
when you run and you really have a focus and you're going and, well, I've just heard about it because I don't run. But those endorphins are released, right? Mm-hmm. Who knows about that? Tasha, can you tell us about that for a minute?
Oh, no, not tell you.
You know, we've heard of it. You understand it happens.
That's with any exercise, any cardio exercise, not
You
just
get on a
running.
treadmill, and the first 5 minutes for me is like drudgery. Oh, but then all of a sudden it's like, man, what's this?
I can keep going, right?
Yeah, and you know, for the
Interesting.
next 15 minutes
Well,
you're good.
I think that's really neat that you said that, because you know in the scriptures it talks about the Holy of Holies and getting in that presence with God.
Mm-hmm.
And there's, I understand, according to the word, there's 3 different like places. There's the outer court, then there's like the middle court, and then the inner court. And if you're not regularly hanging out, spending time with God in that inner court, you have to press through to get in that inner court. So the first so many minutes may be like, oh my goodness. Not that it feels like that, but there's a difference when you get in that inner court. It's like endorphins on steroids, spiritually speaking, right? So whatever it takes to get in that inner court, we have to get in there, because that's when the transformation happens. Philippians 3:13 and 14. Brethren, I count not myself to have apprehended, but this one thing I do, forgetting those things which are behind, and reaching forth unto those things which are before, I press toward the mark for the prize of the high calling of God in Christ Jesus. Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.